Hi friends, welcome to the Time for Living podcast, your ultimate guide to reclaiming the time you need to crush your biggest goals while still having time to live your one beautiful life. I'm your host, Lucy Clark, a devoted boy mum, dedicated business owner and time freedom expert. Say goodbye to the I'm too busy mindset that's holding you back from achieving what matters most to you. No more feeling overwhelmed or stuck in the same place year after year. Every week, we'll dive deep into strategies for being intentional with your precious time so you can hit those ambitious goals while still making time for yourself and your family. If you're ready to create more time, get practical tips, and prioritize the steps that will make the biggest impact on your career and life, then you're in the right spot. Pop in your earbuds, steal a quiet moment, and let's find time together. Hi there, beautiful humans. Welcome back to Time for Living. Or if you're new here, welcome to the podcast for ambitious professional women who refuse to choose between career success and a life they actually love. I'm so glad you're here with me today. And I need to ask you something real quick. When's the last time you balanced your time budget? And I don't mean your financial budget, I mean your time budget. Because here's what I know about you. You're crushing it professionally. You're strategic about the decisions that matter in your life. You research solutions before implementing them at work. You plan your career moves carefully. You probably have systems for managing your team and managing your home. But I'm willing to bet you have no idea where 40% of your time actually goes every week. Think about that for a second. It's like having money mysteriously disappearing from your bank account. But instead of calling the bank, you just keep working harder to make more. Except with time, you can't make more. You can only get intentional about where it's going. And I'm also willing to bet that right now, you're hoping I'm going to give you some magical productivity hack that'll instantly give you 5 more hours in your day. Trust me, I love a good hack too. I'm the queen of trying to find shortcuts and life hacks. But here's what I've learned. When it comes to time, the biggest hack is actually knowing where it's going in the first place. Today, we're doing something that might feel a little uncomfortable, and honestly, a little tedious. We're going to audit your time like the successful businesswoman you are. And I know, the word audit probably makes you want to close this podcast and find something more fun to listen to. And I know I talk about this a lot, but stick with me, because we're going to find those hidden pockets of time that are just waiting to be reclaimed. Because here's the truth. Your dreams aren't too big. You're just not treating your time with the same care and intention you treat everything else in your life. Let me paint a picture for you. It's Sunday night and you're sitting there wondering where the weekend went. You had plans, big plans. You were going to meal prep, maybe read that book that's been sitting on your nightstand for 3 months, call your best friend back, finally organize that closet. But somehow you spent 2 hours quickly checking work emails that turned into a full rabbit hole of LinkedIn scrolling. You binge-watched an entire season of that show everyone's talking about. And look, I'm not judging because streaming platforms know exactly what they're doing with these next episode countdowns. You spent another hour looking for that one document you needed only to find it exactly where it should have been if you'd have looked there first. Sound familiar? Now here's where it gets interesting. You'll say, I don't have time to work out, while simultaneously knowing every detail about your co-workers' vacation photos from 3 different social media platforms. You'll say, I don't have time to start that side business, but you can tell me exactly what happened in every episode of your favorite reality show. And I'm not saying entertainment is bad. We all need to decompress. But there's a difference between intentional relaxation and mindless time consumption. There's a difference between choosing to watch a movie because you want to unwind and finding yourself 3 hours deep into Instagram at 11 p.m. wondering how you got there. Here's what's really happening. You're treating your time like it's unlimited, but managing everything else in your life like the strategic professional you are. You wouldn't make important work decisions without data, but somehow we convince ourselves it's okay to spend time without that same awareness. And I totally get the resistance to tracking your time. The thought of writing down every little thing you do probably makes you groan internally. You're thinking, great, now I need to track my time. This sounds like more work, not less. You want me to tell you the 3 things you can stop doing right now magically to get your 5 hours back in your week. But here's the thing, time is actually your most precious asset. It's the one resource you can never get back, never earn more of, never borrow from tomorrow. And just like you wouldn't make investment decisions without looking at your portfolio, you can't make good time decisions without knowing where your time is actually going. Think about it another way. If someone was randomly taking $50 out of your bank account every day, you'd notice immediately and do something about it. But when activities randomly take 50 minutes out of your day without serving your goals, we just shrug and say, we're busy. The truth is, most of us are spending time on things that aren't really serving us or our goals, and we don't even realize it's happening. We're busy, but not necessarily productive. And we're definitely not making time for the things that would actually light us up and move us towards our dreams. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to treat your time like the valuable resource it is and do a proper audit, just like you would with any other important asset in your life. Now, I know what you're thinking. An audit sounds so boring and time-consuming. Can't you just tell me to stop checking email so much and call it a day? And honestly, I wish I could give you that magic bullet, I really do. Because I love a good shortcut as much as the next person. But here's what I've learned after years of trying every productivity hack, every time management system, every get more done in less time strategy. They don't work long-term if you don't know where your time is actually going. It's like trying to follow a GPS without knowing your starting point. You might drive around for a while, but you're not getting anywhere fast. Think of this as balancing your time budget. A time audit is like taking inventory of your most valuable resource, and trust me, this simple step can reveal so much about what's working for you and what's, well, not. I remember when I first did this, I was convinced I was going to discover that I just needed more hours in the day. I was certain the problem was that I had too much to do and not enough time to do it. But what I actually discovered was that I was spending 45 minutes every morning just figuring out what to wear, what to eat for breakfast, and looking for my keys. I'd spend another hour scrolling through online stores, just browsing, but never actually buying anything. That's 1 hour and 45 minutes a day that I was basically sleepwalking through. Over a week, that's more than 12 hours, almost a day and a half. And here's the beautiful part. Once you have the data, you get to decide what to do with it. Knowledge is power, but only when you act on it. Maybe you decide that browsing time is sacred and you're keeping it. That's totally valid. But at least you're making a conscious choice instead of just letting it happen to you. This isn't about becoming obsessed with every minute or turning into some hyper-scheduled robot. This is about getting the information you need to make smart decisions about your time, the same way you make smart decisions about your money or your career. Step 1, track everything for 1 week. Okay, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Here's what you're going to do for the next week. Track how you spend your time every single day. Yeah, I mean all of it. From personal activities to business tasks, from your morning coffee to your evening wind-down routine to that random 20-minute Instagram scroll, no cheating. And I can already hear you sighing. This sounds like so much work, but here's the thing. It isn't about judging how you spend your time. It's about getting real with yourself. You can keep it super simple by jotting it down in a paper journal or use a time tracking app if that's more your speed. Just be careful not to waste time finding the perfect app. Pick a method that feels easy and stick with it. I personally love just using the Notes app on my phone. Or I have a time log on page 7 of my Taking Control of Your Time workbook. I'll link it in the show notes. Every time I switch tasks, I jot down the time and what I'm doing. 9:15, checking email. 9:45, got distracted by a news article. 10:30, finally started that presentation. Simple, no fancy systems required. And yes, it feels weird at first. You might catch yourself thinking, do I really need to write that down that I spent 15 minutes looking for my phone charger? Yes, you do. Because those 15-minute chunks add up and they're often where our time disappears. Step 2, declutter your schedule. After a week of tracking, it's time to shine a light on the clutter. Sit down with a coffee or tea and review your time log. Take a good hard look at it. And I want you to approach this with curiosity, not judgment. Ask yourself, where am I spending time on things that aren't serving me or my goals? Maybe it's that daily 30-minute rabbit hole of reading celebrity gossip. Maybe it's the hour you spend every morning deciding what to wear because your closet is a disaster. Maybe it's reorganizing your email folders for the 3rd time this month instead of actually responding to important messages. Decluttering your schedule means letting go of those tasks that don't align with where you want to go. Sometimes it takes courage to cut out the unnecessary, but think of all the time you'll free up for what truly matters. Pay attention to activities that are consuming way more time than they should. I call these time black holes. You know, when you sit down to quickly check social media and suddenly it's 45 minutes later and you have no idea what you even looked at. For those of you running businesses or climbing the corporate ladder, time drains often look like spending hours on non-revenue generating activities. Hello, endless email checks. Getting stuck in unproductive work cycles, responding to every Slack message immediately, or simply not having solid boundaries around your time. Then there's step 3, take action. Now let's talk about action, because awareness without action is just fancy procrastination. Make a commitment to yourself to review your daily tasks and split them into 2 piles, essential and non-essential. Essential is anything that truly moves your life or career forward or genuinely brings you joy and fulfillment. Non-essential is everything else, the busy work, the mindless scrolling, the tasks you do out of habit rather than intention. Pick at least 3 non-essential tasks or habits to eliminate or automate this week. Maybe it's that morning routine of checking every single social media platform before even getting out of bed. Maybe it's saying yes to every coffee meeting request even when they don't serve your goals. Maybe it's spending 20 minutes every day looking for your car keys because you never put them in the same place. Trust me, you're going to love the feeling of clearing up space in your schedule for the things that really light you up. Step 4 is delegate what you can. Here's where so many of us get stuck. We fall into the trap of believing we have to do it all. But guess what? We actually thrive when we collaborate and share the load. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can delegate to someone else? Maybe it's grocery shopping. Hello, grocery pickup or delivery. Maybe it's cleaning your house. Maybe it's finally hiring that virtual assistant you've been thinking about. Or asking your partner to take over dinner planning 2 nights a week. Here's the kicker. Don't just think about it, take action. Within the next 48 hours, delegate that task, even if you think you can't afford to delegate. Ask yourself, what's your time worth? If you make $50 an hour, does it make sense to spend 2 hours cleaning your house instead of paying someone $100 to do it while you work on that project that brings in $500? And there we have it, the 4 steps. I want you to remember something. Time is your most precious asset, so treat it with the care and intention it deserves. This isn't about perfection. It's about awareness and intentional action. When you start tracking your time, you might be surprised by what you discover. You might realize you're spending 30 minutes every morning looking for things because you don't have systems in place. You might discover that quick phone calls are turning into hour-long conversations that derail your entire afternoon. You might discover some uncomfortable truths about your digital habits. Maybe you'll realize you're not actually enjoying that YouTube rabbit hole you fell into. You're just watching random videos because the algorithm keeps feeding you content. Or maybe you'll discover that you're using online shopping as a way to avoid working on that passion project you keep saying you don't have time for. The goal isn't to eliminate every moment of spontaneity or relaxation. The goal is to make conscious choices about how you spend your time instead of just letting it happen to you. Remember when you used to wonder where your money was going, and then you started paying attention to your spending, and suddenly you could see that daily coffee habit was adding up? This is the same thing, but with time. And if there are things you can automate, go for it. Set up automatic bill payment, use grocery pickup, batch your meal prep, create a launchpad by your door for keys and sunglasses. Just be mindful of not jumping on every shiny new app you see, as they can end up taking more time than they save. Start small, pick one area where you know you're wasting time and focus on that first. Maybe it is batching your email instead of checking it constantly. Maybe it's setting a timer for social media so that quick checks don't turn into hour-long scroll sessions. You've got this. Seriously, you have everything it takes to take control of your time and create the life you want. I know this feels like work. I know you were probably hoping for a magic productivity hack that would instantly give you 5 more hours in your week. But here's the truth. This is the hack. Knowing where your time goes is the foundation that makes every other time management strategy actually work. And I've created the Taking Control of Your Time workbook that walks you through this entire process with templates and worksheets to make tracking and analyzing your time super simple. You can grab it for free at timeforliving.co/taking control. I'll link it in the show notes. Don't wait for the perfect time to start this, because here's the truth. There will never be a perfect time. but there will be right now. And right now is when successful women take action. Your time is valuable, your dreams matter, and you deserve to live a life that lights you up, not one that just keeps you busy. Thanks for listening to the Time for Living podcast. I'll see you next week. And remember, you don't have to choose between success and a life you love. You can have both. Hey friends, thank you so much for tuning in to the Time for Living podcast today. If this episode inspired you to take action and save time, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a written review and subscribe over on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback means the world to me and helps us reach even more amazing people like you. If you know a friend who needs to hear this message, share this episode with them. And remember, your time is precious, so make every moment count. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep living, and keep making time for what matters most.